Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of 10 Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. I am driving between locations today, so I just wanted to come to you with a subject that I wasn't anticipating talking about, but I've seen quite a bit of it. And it might be considered a strategy by some, it might be considered a tactic by some, it might be just considered standard operating procedures or SOPs if you're in the military mindset, so to speak. But I'll define what I think it is, and I'll give you my opinion on it, my spin on it, why I think it's something you really shouldn't use as a tactic, strategy, or SOP. I think most people are better than that. They don't get to that route, and it really doesn't fix anything. And that's the bottom line. Some people think it fixes something, and some people think it doesn't fix something. I'm one of the tribe that believes that it doesn't fix anything. So it's called avoidance. It's called, if I leave this person, I don't answer their questions, I don't deal with them, that it will go away and that there won't be any more problems with that particular customer or coworker, whatever you want to call it. I'll just avoid them. I won't talk to them. I'll tell them enough to keep them at bay, but that's it. And if I don't feel like talking to them or dealing with them, I'll just avoid them, and eventually they'll get sick of it and they'll go away, and that will work fine. Nothing works if you avoid it. There are times, I'll be clear, when you deal with somebody or talk to somebody where there is no sense or no need to, let's say in particular, continue a discussion. There's an old saying if you banter with an idiot, no one wins. Sometimes no matter what you tell a person, they don't want to hear it. It's their own thing. And there are times for that. There are times where I've had customers or consumers or contacts where no matter what you told them, they wanted to hear what they wanted to hear, and nothing you could tell them would make any difference. And that just becomes stupidity to keep engaging that person at that point. That's probably about the only time I could say it's acceptable. Aside from that, avoiding something is not going to make it go away. So I see people, managers, owners of businesses, even individuals that think I'll only tell them what I need to tell them, and then when they get back to me and they don't agree with whatever, I'll just avoid them because that's what I do. That's my strategy. That's my tactic. That's my SOP. It doesn't make you look good to avoid somebody. It doesn't fix the situation. It doesn't help anyone by avoiding it. Me personally, if I have a concern or an issue with something, I talk about it. I bring it right out. We engage it. I'm not interested in avoiding it. There's just no sense of that being a good thing to do to me, is avoiding somebody's concern or question. So if I have an issue with someone or somebody, whether that be an employee, whether that be a business person, another particular company, I will get on the phone with them and hear their side. Because there's always two sides to a story, and I get that. Actually, there's an old saying, there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. And there is some real truth to that. So you look at it and you say, is avoiding somebody, not answering the phone, not dealing with the person, not engaging that person a correct strategy because it's good for you? It almost makes you look like you're going back to when you were a child and I didn't like something, so I'm going to stomp my feet and I'm not going to avoid it, or I'm not going to deal with it. It doesn't work. It doesn't mean anything. And it makes you look like, frankly, a schmuck, not handling something. If a person wants to call you, wants to talk to you about something you don't want to talk about, it doesn't mean you should avoid them. It means you should get it out of the way. You should talk about it. It's only going to fuel that other person on when you avoid them and ignore them, and that's your strategy. It doesn't work. It never works. It never has worked. It never will work. If somebody wants to get a hold of you for a question, answer, accountability, then that's it. I'm going to give you a small example. Last night I'm doing a trade show, and about 9:30. Actually about 9 o'clock, my phone rings. I'm just about to finish up what we're doing, and it calls, and this particular person, a customer, he's on the West Coast at that time. And that person is obviously a couple hours behind me. So my time at 9 o'clock is probably 6 at their time, whatever that is. I don't know what the exact translation is. I never did figure that out. But he's telling me that the tenant in the home is complaining that they're still getting an odor in the house. You guys were just there. You were in and out, which we were, and it wasn't a big job. And there's still a problem. We found out that the problem is actually on a totally different part of the house away from the water damage. It was never actually estimated in the first place. However, we as professionals went and looked at the job and we missed something. I missed something. so I have to fall on my own sword. What's the best thing to do? Ignore this gentleman when he calls with concerns from his tenant? That's not part of the original agreement, so I'm just going to avoid you because it's not part of what I originally scoped. It wasn't even near the area affected. It wasn't near the area that we even needed to deal with. No, you talk to the person, you find out their concerns, you call them right back, you answer them, and you do the very best you can to fix the situation. To not handle that situation correctly, to leave it alone and just say, well, it wasn't part of the original agreement, I'm not going to deal or talk to this person, is not the way to go. If a customer has a concern, answer their concern. That's it, to the best of your ability. If what you're saying they don't want to hear, then that's a different issue altogether. But at least you've made the attempt to talk to somebody and to try and rectify and handle the situation, giving great customer service, great client service by doing so. Again, this situation had nothing to do with what we did. It was a totally separate issue. But it was our job as professionals to find the whole problem and analyze it, estimate accordingly. I missed the part. People, I'm human just like everybody else, and I missed a section of the job when I originally looked at the job site. What do I have to do? I have to call the customer, explain to him that I didn't know it was there, explain to him the honest situation, what really went on, and just say, listen, you paid us as the professional to find the situation and fix it. And we didn't do what you hired us for. Even though it wasn't our fault, it wasn't his fault. He still hired me to fix the situation, make sure there's no odors, make sure it's cleaned up properly, make sure his tenant is happy. And that's what we have to do. So if I have to go back and do a section of work that really wasn't part of the original scope just because I made a mistake, then I'm going to do it, because that's good customer service. Now, I could have avoided that person and said, well, that's not part of the agreement. We didn't see that section of the house. That's totally separate. That has nothing to do with it. Would be wrong. What would even be more wrong is me not even having the conversation and just leaving it alone and saying, tough, deal with it. We did our portion of it. We did what we thought was right. It's not a part of what I originally scoped. It's not even part of the estimate. Well, avoiding it would only fuel the situation, probably be a reimbursement in monies that were paid to the company for doing the correct job. And it's a bad situation. And avoiding it would do no better for anybody. So I talked to the gentleman multiple times last night to reassure him we will handle it. It's not an issue over that it wasn't part of the original issue. It's not a portion of, hey, we did our job. No, we're going to handle the situation. They hired us to be the professional. So you talk to that person. If that person's confrontational with you because they're not happy, suck it up. Deal with it. You could defend your own actions. You can go back to what you originally agreed with, but answer the person's questions and respect where they're coming from. Avoiding that would only infuriate the person and, again, lead to a bad situation. So avoiding somebody because you don't want to deal with it, stupid. Dealing with that person and still explaining it wasn't part of it still may be an option for doing more business there and charging what's needed to be done. And worst case scenario, if you took the job on and you made a mistake, and even though it wasn't part of it and the assessment was done to our protocol, to our system, to my 25 years of experience, it was a totally different section of the house, fall on your own sword to fix it. Our namesake is as simple as this: making sure things get done. Give me 1 second here. And make sure that everything is done according to plan and that we are handling the job and handling the situation and making them happy. So avoiding something, stupid. Not dealing with something at hand, stupid. Talking to the customer, explaining your side, they explain their side, he or she explains their side, and dealing with you and actually rectifying the situation and handling it like a professional. And I see one of the esteemed professionals here in New Jersey on the cast that does it. I actually hire them to come in my house and do work in my house, and they're phenomenal, and they do it right. And they could teach it. Making sure you do what you say you're going to do, not avoiding it, and handling the customer situation and making sure that satisfaction rate is high. Life is too short for you not to go back for a day and fix it if you have to. All right? That's my episode today of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. I hope you've gotten something out of it. I hope you've listened to it. But avoiding a person, avoiding a situation, avoiding a problem does not fix it. It only infuriates it and makes it worse. So talk to the person, get it off the table, clear the air, and make sure it gets done. Be a person of your word. All right, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.